G'day everyone, this video is a response to the announcement by Essena O'Neill from Australia that she is quitting social media. I read about her story on the New York Times earlier this evening. I didn't know about her beforehand, but I saw this article on New York Times and I thought it was really interesting, so I wanted to find out a little bit more about her. So in this video I'm going to talk about her and recap why she's quitting social media, mention some of the insights that she communicated in her final video, and then also discuss some of the pros and cons of social media. So Essena O'Neill, she's a 19-year-old from Australia who in recent years had become a social media sensation. She had 800,000 followers on Instagram, she had over 200,000 followers on YouTube, and a few days ago she announced that she was quitting social media, that she'd had enough of it, and she uploaded this video on November 2nd in which she talked about why she's quitting social media and sharing her truth. Now, in that video, she talked about how obsessed she had become with Instagram and YouTube and social media and all of those websites, and how that had impacted her life. And she discussed how depressed it had made her feel and how disconnected from reality it had made her, and that much of what she communicated on Instagram and YouTube was a very contrived and controlled and manufactured representation of her life, and that this had had an extremely detrimental effect on her psyche, and that in order to kind of save herself, she was quitting social media to get back to a more natural and authentic way of existing in this world. I thought what she had to say was very profound, and her final video was 17 minutes. I had watched about 8 minutes of it, and I went to the gym and I was going to come back and watch the rest of it. And by the time I come back, she'd actually closed her account. So true to her word, she has quit social media, and I guess she wanted to get these videos out, make her announcement, and then she closed it. She does have another website that she started, but that's another story. So in relation to the pros and cons of social media, I think what Essena O'Neill has discussed and the issues she has brought up are very relevant actually to everyone who's involved in social media. I don't think social media is the problem per se. I think it's how individual people use it. There are a number of positives associated with social media websites. They can certainly help bring us into contact with people and organizations we would never otherwise have contact with. They are an excellent way of obtaining information and rapidly transmitting information. And I think they also, they provide a method of communication that is not necessarily available to us through other traditional ways of communicating, by the telephone and writing letters and stuff like that. So there are a number of benefits to social media, and it's here to stay, so we have to focus on the positives rather than, getting rid of it and saying it's a disaster. Having said that, absolutely there are some negatives and problems associated with social media, and I think Essena O'Neill touched on those. If you become obsessed with it, or anyone becomes obsessed with Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, and that becomes your entire world, and everything becomes centered around how many likes and followers and views you get, then obviously that is going to create problems for you psychologically, and that is a real problem. That's a real issue. I think also if we spend too much time on social media, it can take us away from living in the moment. And if every time you go out, you're taking pictures to upload to Instagram, or you're doing something that's related to social media and you're not able to be present with the people that you're interacting with, that's a problem. So I think excessive use of social media can ironically make us feel more disconnected to society, and more disconnected from society, and more disconnected from the people that we interact with in our real life. So, in summary, I think what Essena O'Neill has done has been very important, because she is shining a light on this issue, which I think is particularly relevant for young people who have grown up in an age of social media. Some of us who are older, know an existence that we had before social media, and we can make a comparison of how things were in the past and how things are now. But if you've grown up with that and that's all you know, I think it's very helpful to have one of your peers say, hey, let's step back and make an assessment of this situation and decided, is this really the best way for us to all be living? And in that sense, I think what she's done has been of great service to many people. And as someone myself who's also interested in social media and sometimes feel like I'm too obsessed with it, I really appreciate what she had to say. And personally, I'm going to reflect on some of the things that she mentioned. Thank you.